Thank you for joining us at Beer Fish Fanatics. And this episode is actually brought to you by Whisker Secret Tackle.
So make sure you guys go to whiskersecret.com for all your catfishing gear.
Enjoy the episode, guys. All right, man. All right, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Beer Fish Fanatics. This is Grandy with My Pop Fishing. We got
Kit with the Fishing Kit YouTube channel.
And today we're on the casting couch here up in Ankeny. It's a little interesting, but no, we're actually up here on site. We're actually at Mistress Brewing Company up here in Ankeny, Iowa. And we're joined today by a fellow local fisherman, Mr. Ryan.
Good way to put it.
Mr. Ryan Likens here. He's joining us, aka also known as Hawkeye Bassin.
In my former life.
Formerly known retired local Iowa YouTuber guy.
So we'll jump into that a little bit, and we'll have a few questions for you. But thanks for joining us, man. Cheers!
Absolutely.
Cheers, guys. So
I feel honored to be in the same podcast as Jay Siemens, Ross Peterson, two of the guys that I listen to or watch every day.
There you go. And I'm drinking. This place is called Mistress Brewing Company. Their names of the beers are pretty interesting. The one I'm drinking is called Caught Red-Handed. It's a IPA red, 6% alcohol content. What you got, Kit? What did you choose to drink? He chose to drink a sneeze.
I got the Sadie, at least like a seasonal.
Gotcha.
Because the one I wanted, the Bam Bam, I guess they were out.
And you got the blonde ale?
The blonde ale, yeah.
There we go. There you go.
Branching out. A little different than my usual Busch Light, but it's good.
Right.
I enjoy it.
We're breaking his cherry into the craft world.
It's like Busch Light with the little love in there.
Right. It's a fancy Busch Light is how I can describe that.
Fancy Busch Light. I like that. Yes, that's kind of true. So just kind of let everybody know today, Ryan and I, we wanted to fish. Obviously, we don't have the luxury of the gentleman over here. He just literally got off the lake today fishing. So how'd you do?
While there's snow on the ground.
While there's snow, yeah, crazy.
And it's almost April.
It's April and it's like snow on the ground here. Not, go figure it's Iowa. But how'd you do, man?
Froze because it was like 35 degrees. Like when I was driving up there, my truck said 33. I was like, 33? That can't be right. Yeah, it's March 31st. We got 2 inches of snow last night.
It was coming down good too.
More. Like I live on the east side. I think it was like certain spots. It felt like it was like 4 inches, dude. It's crazy.
And tomorrow's April 1st, right?
There you go. Yeah.
We almost got April Fools
right.
by Mother Nature. Well, I went to the windblown side. I've been on like a catfish kick lately, and I actually took Ryan out for the first time, and
very windy.
Very windy. Today wasn't as windy, but it was a lot colder than that day, and I'm thinking like, the wind's blowing over here. Hopefully the snow didn't really mess up the bite, but yeah, I didn't get one bite. I fished like the spot we fished, and then moved to the left a little bit more. I probably spent a little over 20 minutes in each spot, not a bite. And then
could be those shad you've had sitting in your car for how many days now?
A few days. a few days. I've been freezing, like 3 or 4 at a time, and I'll take them out as I need them. But they're not the freshest bait on earth. But we did pretty good that one day, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't fished in like 2.5, 3 weeks, and if you guys follow my YouTube channel, I probably won't have a video, guys, this week. I don't know. Well, when we release this will be after anyways, but yeah, it's I've been in a household of sick kids and a sick wife, so I haven't had shit to do except sports cards at home. So I've been on that kick. I haven't been able to go out and fish, so hopefully I can get out this week.
I need a timeout. I gotta blow my damn nose, dude. I'm over here sniffling.
Come on,
where's
kid.
the bathroom?
I don't know. I think it's over here to the right, maybe. If not, it's back there. One of them. We edited it out, hopefully. Maybe we'll just leave it in. Freaking idiot.
Maybe he's allergic to that beer. He started sneezing after he started drinking it.
No. Or it's because he was fishing in 30-degree weather. Genius.
That could be playing a role as well.
Snow's on the ground.
That day we were out there, dude. Was it earlier this week? Last week. That was the windiest I've ever fished in for that period of time. I mean, dude, it was like 40-mile-an-hour sustained wind, 60-mile-an-hour gust. We were literally having to stand like this into the wind so we didn't get blown over. I mean, it was.
No, I know that day. I was like, yeah, I was thinking of going, and then I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm 30, the fishing 35 miles an hour is no, but then like he said, you guys were catching.
We were catching.
I mean,
Well, he was catching. I caught 3.
Yeah.
He caught 30. But I wanted to catch 1 or 2, so I beat my goal that day. So
There you go.
I was grateful.
But yeah, no way I was gonna go fishing that weather. I was like, it's so windy. I would have been, knowing me, I would have cast into the wind. Something would have happened. Hook would have hooked somebody or something.
Right.
That's just the story of my life, man. All right, we got Fishing Kid. He's back after his nose blow. Oh, you should have brought an extra tissue, man.
I should have, but whatever.
That. But anyway, so he didn't do too well today. But he's been on a catfish kick. So make sure you guys check out his channel and everything, though, because I'm pretty sure you'll have the catfishing scenes coming up here pretty soon.
Maybe too much catfish.
So you've been catching a lot lately.
Yeah.
All right. But you don't have to fight against the masses going for walleyes right now.
Right.
True. Got the whole lake to myself at this particular body of water.
Secret.
There you go. So we had Ryan here to join us because, obviously, I was a fan of your channel and everything, and I was hoping you'd record one day here sometime soon. I kind of looked back at the last video he had. It was like 3+ years ago.
I think it was it was winter of 2019. Or 2018. It would have been going into 2019. So it's been 3 years.
3 years. So, but I mean, you have amazing local knowledge in regards to fishing and everything. So we're friends and just wanted to get you on the podcast. But my biggest thing is like obviously we're in spring. Well, with the snow on the ground, I guess spring. Whatever.
Feels like winter.
Should be spring.
But I mean, what would you recommend anybody who's in the Midwest? Because pretty much everybody in the Midwest has the same, pretty much I would say weather as us, obviously, or similar.
Yeah.
But what would you say, like if you're in local Iowa and everything? What's your game plan? What are you looking to do when it's kind of early spring? This is early spring, right, kid?
It's really hard.
It's technically spring.
Yeah. This time of year is really hard. Right after ice out, most of the fish are where they were during ice. And a lot of times there's still ice on the lake or too thin of ice to fish the ice, but there's too much ice to get your boat out on the lake to get over those spots where they were. This, in my experiences anyways.
Right.
The later in spring it gets and you can start fishing your rivers for walleye. It's pretty common knowledge, but I struggle early in the spring, and I always have around here especially. You can hit the rivers, get your walleyes, but I'm waiting a couple more weeks before I really start targeting fish on the boat and expecting to catch more fish as well. if that's a good answer to that question. I struggle early spring. I just don't catch a lot of fish this time of year.
What species you targeting early spring or spring, I guess?
Walleye. And then when the water starts to warm, of course, bass will start pushing up, crappie will start pushing up. So during that transition is where I'll start, targeting crappie more. They'll be moving from their deep holes up shallow. The bass will start moving up to your rocky points. They'll start moving up shallower. They become a lot more accessible, the warmer the water gets.
Yeah. And I've been trying to bring Ryan to the light. I took him out catfishing. I mentioned that earlier.
Apparently catfishing. So I did catch some catfish Saturday, and that's something I've never targeted in the spring. I didn't know how to target them, but you showed me the way.
Yeah.
I just can't catch shad now.
Right. The thing is, I think that's another good fish to target right when the ice comes off. Because I've been watching that body of water. I know a guy that lives in that area. And I messaged him like, hey, let me know once it opens up. And then there was this one day, it basically opened up, but I went out and there was still like big chunks of ice floating around on the ice. And I was starting to catch catfish. So the ice basically broke up maybe that morning or the day before, and the catfish were already starting to bite again.
How much longer do you think we have to target those cats? Ice out cats, I guess would you say?
Depends on the body of water, really, because different lakes thaw out at different rates and warm up at different rates. Because that body of water is super shallow, so it'll warm up fast. Right. These bigger lakes, I haven't really tried. Like, I'll just throw Sailorville and Red Rock out there because those are our two big main lakes. I haven't really tried the ice out bite on them because it's just more water to cover. And usually with the ice out bite, you want to keep moving until you find fish because the fish are they're not roaming around like crazy. So it's not like summertime where you throw out a few baits and they'll come from,
Right.
who knows how far, hundreds of yards or whatever. But this is wintertime, they're kind of just focused in certain areas. But if you could find where that is, you catch a pile of them. And
You did with your one rod that day.
Yeah,
That was
one
crazy.
rod.
We had, 6 rods lined up? No, 5. You had 3, I had 2. He had one rod on the far left, and it caught 10 to 1
Yeah.
than any other rod, just that far left one.
Did you use any specific lure or a bait on that one, or was it
All the same
baits.
So, but for some reason that one
Yeah, it was just in the right spot.
right spot. Interesting.
I've noticed when I've caught cats through the ice, they seem to congregate. So I wonder if your left one just happened to be right where they were congregating.
I think it's kind of the same thing as the ice cats, like fishing for them through the ice.
Sure.
You find a pile of them.
What would you guys say? Okay, so this was a question I think I saw somebody post on, I don't know, one of the social medias, but what would you guys say is like, so a novice fisherman, someone like me or just somebody who's just getting into fishing, what's the one or whatever biggest mistake you see new or novice fishermen do during spring or coming into spring or coming into fall or summer, whatever the case may be? What do you guys you have to notice something, right?
I would say in the spring, I notice people getting discouraged, like at this time of the year, because it is hard to catch fish sometimes this time of year.
Yeah.
People are getting in, they're going to these dams on the river. They go to, for example, in our area, Saylorville Dam. You see people catch fish down there. You see it on Facebook. You see it on social media. They go down there, they catch nothing. They get snags. I see a lot of people getting discouraged this time of the year because fishing is tough. So I would, my best advice would be just to hang in there. Good fishing is on the way. The water temperatures are going to raise up, and you're going to catch more fish.
My turn?
Yeah. What do you see as the biggest mistake, or that a novice person or a beginning fisherman does when it comes to springtime, or like
Early spring.
or just spring,
I
or
think-
any time at all?
Well, I guess like this time of year, I think people fish too fast, like too aggressive. Like they'll cast out like a spoon or a twister tail or a twister tail or whatever, and they're like burning it in. Like right now, you want to fish slow. The water's still cold. You just want to slow everything down. And I'd see people just out there with like aggressive baits, just burning it in. I mean, maybe they had success with it before, but I think that's one thing I see that a lot of
For
like
sure.
newbies do.
I think I was one of them. I learned from you and Spencer a lot to slow down my reeling. Like, you know what I mean? Just slow it down.
I reel as little as possible.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just picking up the slack in my line. If I'm fishing the river, I'm like rarely ever reeling in. Like, okay, I'm just letting it drift down the river. And if I have too much slack, that's as much as I'm reeling up. Just to pick up the slack, and that's it.
Yeah. No. That's a great tidbit, because like I said, when I was really starting getting into fishing, I think it's one of those things when if you don't get out as much, or if you're novice or you're just really starting to get into fishing, you're excited, man. You're out there, and then you're casting. You're just like, can't wait till the fish hit this thing, and you're just reeling it in, and you're just burning it. But like you said, I think it's you slow down. I think that's what I started to do a lot, at least the last couple of years for sure. Helped me a lot, I think.
But summertime, when like the fish are super aggressive, you could like burn in a cast master. They'll like those white bass. They'll freaking smoke
the wipers
it.
and the white bass. You're constantly just going.
Do you my other, I guess, question or thoughts are on that is that, okay, so a lot of novice or people who just really starting getting into fishing, they're I don't know who recommends it to them, but they start spending tons of money on gear. Like at first, when I really started getting into fishing, whether it's ice fishing or just open water, I started spending a lot of money on like I wouldn't say the most expensive, but it's really freaking expensive rods and reels, right? And then I come to find out, or I come to honestly feel that I really didn't need to spend that $300 on that rod or $200 on that reel and have a $500 setup. You know what I mean? And I'm wondering, and then
$500, jeez.
Yeah, that's what I know. When I jumped into it, I was just like, it is. The rods are $250. The reels are $200, $250. It's $500. Like but you're looking at me like you don't need that. But a lot of people, I don't know if it's because their friends and family talk them into it, Or
I think a lot of it has to do with a lot of these new fishermen. They're watching. They get a lot of their new knowledge off of YouTube. So you go to your biggest guys on YouTube. You look at the Guggen Squad. You look at these guys. They have top of the line gear.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a lot of stuff that you're seeing on YouTube, you see all this top of the line gear. It looks flashy. It looks fancy. You know, they're promoting all this flashy, fancy gear, and I think that's how they want to look cool. They want to have
then
those. You know what I mean?
And then one friend is like, "Oh, he just got like a $200 rod."
Right. It's just like a vicious circles.
Yeah.
does it? I mean, okay. So this thing, it does make a little bit of a difference. Yes, no. I mean,
100% it makes a difference. But you don't need expensive gear to catch
fish. Okay.
to catch fish.
That makes sense.
I think you reach a point of like diminishing returns.
There you
Right.
go.
And like your brother-in-law, he's spending a
Thousands.
shit ton of money.
Yeah.
I'm like he's trying to get me to like upgrade to his rods. He probably spends like $400 or $500 on a rod.
Minimum.
And
Well,
I'm-
which brother though? Which
John.
brother-in-law? John. He spends $800, dude.
Well, whatever.
Yeah.
In a few hundreds.
I'm just like,
And I'm like, I don't see the point. I mean, he's like, yeah, I can cast all day, super light, I don't get tired. Like, but for that much money, you better like feel like you can cast all day. But I think once you reach a certain price point, like for me, $100 for a rod is like,
I was going to say that's the magic number.
yeah.
So I've had a lot of low-end gear, and I've had a lot of high-end gear. Once you get into the realm of the $100 rod and reel, that's where you get to the next level.
Yeah, that's like the sweet spot.
That is the sweet spot. I would say $100 to $150 in that area. There's a bunch of options, but you don't need it though.
You don't.
You can go get a $20 reel and a $20 rod and catch just as many fish.
You can get a
But
stick.
it's all about comfort. You know, you can get
Yeah.
a lot of your more expensive reels and rods will be lighter, so they're more comfortable. If you're going to be fishing all day, you will notice a difference in that. You will notice a difference in smoothness.
Sensitivity.
But I've caught some of my biggest fish on super cheap rods.
This is my. That's why I'm like, okay, I already spent the money on these rods, so I got it already. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm already invested. It's whatever. If I could go back and change, I would have. You know what I mean? Like, I already have it now. But what I would tell anybody who's getting, I mean, there's no need for you to spend $250, $300 on a rod. You really don't, especially if you are only fishing maybe once a week or maybe twice a month or something like that. There's really no need. And then the other thing is, if you start spending that type of money on these rods, this is what I noticed. Shit, man, you don't want to lay that shit down. And then
That's the problem. You get one nice combo, and then you pick up your cheaper one, and it's heavier. It's not as smooth.
you don't even
And you're
want,
like, oh,
you don't even put your combo down on the ground.
Right.
You don't even want.
you're worried about scratching
Yeah,
it.
you're
Worried
scratching
about,
it,
yeah,
getting
you can have any
dirt,
scratches.
like,
Yep.
So my thoughts are like, if I had right now, if I would have had like $100 rod and maybe a $50 reel, I mean, would I really care if you know what I'm saying? If I'm laying it on the ground to change the lure or pick up a fish. But right now, the crazy thing is, man, it's like a $500 setup every time I'm touching, and then I'm thinking I'm reeling in this fish and trying to unhook it. Like, I'm looking around for where to lay it down. I'm not
Right.
even, you know what I'm saying? I'm not even focusing on taking the hook out of the fish. I'm so worried about dinging this freaking rod that's $500 on the ground or getting shit on it. I'm like,
Because you're always usually in bad situations. You're on
Yes.
rocks. You're
Yeah.
on a bunch of rocks. And you're trying to set it
Yeah.
down like you're below a dam.
Exactly.
And you want your rod to like lean on someone so it doesn't come crashing on you. You want to scratch the reel.
Yeah.
I get it. I'm kind of a reel nut. So I have cases for all my reels.
See. But
And
when you're
it's
really
just-
into fishing, then now, but
Oh, I
when you
know.
have that fish, you're like, all right, where am I putting a rod? Versus you're not even focused on
I
taking the
know.
fish off the hook. You're just so busy, like, I don't want to just lay this on the ground.
I know.
See, and that's where I got to the point. I'm like, that's where I felt like, you know what? I'm at that point where I don't even care. I have a $500 setup, whatever. Now I'm at that point where if I catch a fish, whatever, I'm getting that fish off. Whatever. If I have to get a
rich
new,
guy.
if I have to get a new set, no, because I already invested in it. You know, it's not like I can go back out of it now.
Right.
So, but if I have to get a new setup, I can guarantee you right now, I won't even come close to spinning that. I mean, it's lesson learned in a way.
The problem is we need to talk to someone in the government about this. Right when spring fishing is starting is when you get your tax returns. So I recently made a purchase with that money that is a little more on the higher end, but it's great. But you get this influx of money right when all this new fishing gear is coming out. It's not fair. We need to get it changed.
But you have a boat, so it's a little bit different because when you're fishing off your boat, you're not worried too much. It's the shore fishing that sucks if you
Yep.
have expensive gear. That's That's my thoughts. I was just like, or a kayak. Even if you have a kayak, I'm not even too worried because you're holding the rod and reel anyway, so it's not a big deal. But it's because we're shore anglers. What, at least 70% of the time, would you say? Or do you think you're less shore?
I'm a lot less now, but I used to be all shore. Like when I was making my YouTube videos, it was all on shore. Yeah, all of it.
How about you now? Since you had your yak and everything, what would you say your shore versus kayak or boat fishing? Boat fishing, you fished out of the boat most last year because he had a boat and Saki had a boat.
Yeah, I was like, I could count how many times on one hand, how many times I was on a boat
until last year, right?
Like, I'm basically bank fishing. I'd probably say 70 to 80, and then maybe a handful of times on somebody's boat, and then the rest is on the kayak.
Right. See, so you're still a shore fisherman quite a bit.
Yeah,
you would say something about that. I mean, I don't know.
I'm getting to the point where I'm like going the opposite way. I'm going like cheaper and cheaper.
That's what I'm saying.
I've been using these Cash King reels. Like, okay, $20-$30. All right. If it sucks, I'm only out like $20. And then, I mean, unless it's like total crap, it's not a terrible reel.
Well, I ran into that issue this ice season. I purchased, I don't know if I want to name the company or not. We can beep it out later. But
some other company.
Pissy Fun. And I bought their ice reel. It sucks, bro.
Like what sucks about it?
It's like, okay, when I was out fishing, it's just like frozen. It's not smooth. And it just sucks. It just wasn't smooth when I was trying to reel in just a freaking small ass bluegill. It's just like kind of sticky because it was cold out, but it just didn't feel really good. It wasn't smooth. And then when I opened up the bail to let it sucked. I felt like, I don't know, because it was like $15-$20. I like give it a shot. I don't think I'll do it again.
Yeah, that's kind of like on the low end.
Yeah,
like
and I wouldn't necessarily say
for an ice reel. I mean, yeah,
I wouldn't necessarily say that is gonna be the problem on every reel though, because I actually bought a Daiwa, a bait caster. I think it was the Tatula SV, like 2 weeks ago, out of box, super loud, wouldn't cast right. The thumb bar stuck. That was right out of the box. So I think a lot of times, when they're mass producing these reels, there's going to be a reel here and there that are going to have issues.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of good videos on those Pissy Funs, but then I've seen bad videos on them. It's just kind of it's a gamble, especially with those mass produced, Chinese branded reels.
Are they Chinese?
Probably made in China.
China or Malaysia or
somewhere.
Actually, a lot of Shimano's are made in Malaysia.
Yeah, and, that's what I saw.
They actually, Shimano and Daiwa, fun fact here, are the only reel brands that have their own standalone manufacturing facilities. So like your Luz, what are some other brands? Luz,
Abu, Fluger.
A lot of those are made from one company and basically rebranded, repainted, different paint jobs, different things to them.
Subcontract that shit out.
So there's companies like Doyo that makes like 7 different brands of rod and reels, are just tweaked a little bit differently, but a lot of their parts are interchangeable. It's pretty cool. Interesting, I should say.
But you said Shimano and
Daiwa.
Daiwa, they're only 2.
Yeah.
Which I could see that
they have their own. Everything they do is on their own.
Interesting. That's a good tidbit to know.
Or it was 4 years ago. It might have changed, but it used to be.
Right. I don't know. I'm a big Shimano fan. I mean, I do have a Daiwa
huge
reel.
Shimano fanboy.
I mean, a lot of people. I don't know if there's anybody that doesn't like Shimano, really.
With reels or
you have your Daiwa fanboys that hate on Shimano.
Well, that's just dumb. Being a fanboy of anything.
Agreed on that. It's true. I'm with you. I've never had an incident or an issue with Shimano rods or reels. I could go. I guess the cheapest low-end Shimano reel I use is the Sienna.
That's a great reel for $30.
I use that on all my ice reels.
It's a great reel for $30. Open water too. If someone's watching, they need cheap entry-level gear. $30 for a Sienna. It's one of the most solid reels ever made.
I agree with you. And then if you replace the carbon washers on it, it smooths out the drag too. I don't know if you've ever done that or not. It makes a big difference.
I haven't.
I think so. I think it makes a huge difference on those, especially the ice rods for some reason, like the drag, especially when you catch wipers, man. Especially you.
You need a good drag system
Yeah,
for those
you
bad
do
boys.
need a
They'll
good drag.
burn them out good.
Yeah. So that's the one thing that I noticed, because we like to fish for wipers and everything. You got to have a good drag system on your reel, man.
Should
Yes.
we take a little break before we? Because I want to jump into wipers.
Okay.
But I think we should take a little break.
Should I stop it, or I'll stop it?
Probably should just stop it.
Stop it.
We probably throw in like a commercial.
This episode is brought to you by Kalona Brewing Company. If you live in Eastern Iowa, make sure to swing by Kalona Brewing Company's tap room. Amazing food and amazing craft beer. If you live in Central Iowa or in the Midwest, swing by your local supermarket and see if they carry the Kalona Brewing Company line of beer. And also swing by your local restaurants, local bars, see if they have Kalona Brewing Companies on tap. If not, make sure you guys request it. I kid you not, you won't regret that. Other than that, enjoy this episode, guys. I'm doing this one. What am I doing here? I'm doing the Trumer Fro. So
I am once again doing the blonde ale.
there you go. Blonde. You're doing the blonde. It's awesome.
I tried to branch out there a little bit. I tried the one.
Which one did you have him try?
It wasn't the
blonde.
one. No, the one she gave me a sample
Oh,
of. I'm like,
that was her that tried to have me try that one.
yeah.
It was a stronger ale on the bottom there. I don't know.
Was it the strong American ale?
Yep, that's what she tried to have him
probably
try.
what it was.
Yeah, I just see you talk about the bitterness, and I thought that one was way more bitter than this blonde one was.
See,
And the
what
blonde
was-
is rated at 21.
What's the IBU?
12 for the strong American ale.
Should be less bitter, but it's stronger, so you probably have a bolder taste to it. You see what I'm saying? So you're not going to get the hops, but you're going to get a bolder,
Right.
like stronger sugary taste.
Right.
Heavier.
Oh, I got the American Amber, Mistress Amber.
All right. But all right, we're back. Cheers, guys. Have a drink. We're gonna talk about wipers. So jump into it, Kit. Tell me, because right now, obviously, springtime Iowa, not really any wipers going on. I don't know, unless somebody
Not
knows.
yet.
It'll be soon.
Soon, very soon.
So what are your ambitions of wiper season this year? What are you guys looking forward to in regards to that?
Go ahead, Ryan. You first.
Hybrid striped bass in case Mark's
I'm just
listening,
looking
sorry.
to hit them like I did last year, to be honest.
Okay.
I mean, I had a phenomenal year last year. The spot that me and you were both thinking of, that should be heating up here pretty soon.
I want to say like 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Okay.
Is my thinking.
Yep. Target them more top water. This is what I like to do more this year. I really started doing that hot and heavy last year.
Mm-hmm.
Catch them kind of mid-summer when they start schooling on those shad. Start busting top water, about a half hour before the sun goes down. I'd like to do that more. I think that's probably the most exciting fishing you can find in this state, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
On a regular basis anyways. Like, yeah, catching a muskie might be more exciting, but easily accessible, really exciting bite, wipers in the summer.
Yeah, you can't go and catch like 20 muskies, but you go out
Right.
and catch 20 wipers.
Right.
And every single one is like exciting.
Yes.
I think let me know when you go, because I my goal, like I was telling everybody, like I really want to be able to catch a wiper on a fly rod. I think that's I don't know, it's maybe a little bit too ambitious because I haven't even really fly fished yet. So
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm just picturing us three on my boat right now, and the wipers jumping everywhere, and you like slinging around a fly, catching him in the ear.
It'd have to be a top water bite, I would imagine.
for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. But if we can find that, I would just like to at least catch one. Just try it, just to see how
That would be a ball.
how would I fight it. I don't even know how to. I've been watching a lot of videos lately on YouTube, like how people fight big fish on the fly rod. It's pretty intense, man.
You got the like the weighted the line, or you got the fly gear rated for a big fish.
No, it's just a regular 5-weight.
Well, 5
Medium.
weight's kind of like middle tier.
Yeah, 5-weight you should be able
You should
to.
be able to, but that's all I got. I mean,
Problem
it's
is those reels, they're just kind of like a
That's-
1-to-1 gear ratio, right?
Yeah, there's no
basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they make runs at you. So I mean, you're gonna have to
Yeah,
It'll be interesting. I
That's what
want
I'm
to see
saying.
it.
It's gonna be. That's
It'll
why
be
I'm
good.
like, I don't know. I mean, it's just something new. I want
Oh,
to try
absolutely.
and see if I can do it.
You're probably better off like stripping the line towards you opposed to reeling it
Probably.
But
in. But
yeah.
what do I know? I don't know jack about.
I'm gonna
fly
stick to my
fishing.
spinning reels.
Yeah, spinning and bait casting.
Right, and bait casting, yeah.
No, I'm with
But
you.
no,
but
that would be fun. I wouldn't
wanna-
watch you do
I
it.
just want to try it. I don't know. I've never done it, and fly fishing looks interesting enough for me to try this year and jump.
Have you
into
fly
it.
fished before?
No, I just bought all the gear last year towards the end. Because we went to we did a podcast with Rod and Rivet. Kevin
Rod
out there.
and rivet.
And they hooked me up with the setup and everything, and what I should get to get started and everything. So I'm excited. I didn't get a chance to use it at all last year. I mean, I went out one time and it was a disaster. I went out with what's his name? The other guy that was
Kirby.
Kirby showed me, and I mean, I can see him right now. He was really nice because if it was me watching somebody try to do that, I would have been laughing my ass off.
Right.
And
But he's a guide, though.
Yeah, he was kind of helping me a little bit to kind of really understand it. And yeah, you guys are gonna see me struggle this year. Probably, pretty sure I'm gonna do some videos, but it's just something new. I just want to try something a little bit different, a little new.
I do want to catch white bass and wipers on the fly.
See?
rod.
It would be fun.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know how much time I'm gonna dedicate to it, but
Have you fly fished?
yeah, I have a fly setup. Yeah, I think the biggest fish I caught on a fly rod was like a 20-inch trout. So
Okay.
That's not bad.
that's an okay trout, especially for Iowa.
absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
I dabbled in fly fishing for like 2 months, and I gave up on it.
So for someone that is like myself, that I love to catch wipers and hybrid striped bass, like, okay, how do I know when the bite is on? You know what
When
I'm
you're
saying?
catching them, that's when the bite's on.
Well, no shit. But when would you recommend start targeting them? Like you said, into like mid-spring?
So in a couple weeks, the area that we are thinking of, it's kind of the deeper area of the lake. And last year, at least what I was doing is we would throw baits out on the bottom.
Yeah.
So I think they're still, kind of slower moving, still sitting out a little bit deeper. But once again, the more the water temperature raises, the more those new shad are going to be popping out, the more they're going to be going shallower, chasing them. But I would say right now, it's like he was mentioning earlier, it's kind of low and slow. They're still a little deeper.
Yeah.
Put a bait on the bottom, let it sit there.
With the secret bait.
With the secret bait.
So
That may or may not be in one of his videos.
Yeah.
So that you have to go back and find out.
Yeah, you gotta do some research. You
Yeah.
gotta go through my videos.
Yep.
he won't tell you.
We won't mention it
That's good
here.
promotion for you. Go back and watch every single fishing kit video.
until you find it.
Yep.
And you know what? I'll throw that in, man. If you guys find whoever the first one who responds and comments the secret bait, send you guys a Beer Fish Fanatic cup or something.
Yeah, Ryan was the one that got me on it, and
Okay.
like when I first heard about it, I was like, no way. And then we went out there, like,
Yep.
oh my god.
And I think you let me catch a couple before you finally made the switch.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay,
Yeah,
I have to
because I was
switch.
using like swim baits and
Yeah.
stuff. I was using the typical stuff, and like, all right, man, this guy's catching fish. I gotta switch it over.
And that was shore fishing, right?
That was on the boat. It was
we
on
were,
the
we
boat.
were in a boat, but
Oh,
we were
okay.
fishing the same exact spot.
Yep,
We
gotcha.
shore fished too,
Yep.
so it was deeper, and we were I think we were trolling the boat, but super
Yeah.
slow.
Yeah,
So I mean, right now it's just kind of it's almost like catfishing, really,
yeah,
for the wiper. Now you cast out a bait, you let it sit.
yeah. Normally with whitebirds, you're thinking you're throwing out big
Mhm.
baits, or not necessarily big bait,
Or
but
like a shad imitating
like a
bait.
shad
Yeah,
type of bait. But this secret bait, we'll tell you that much. It doesn't look like a shad.
and you wouldn't think like it's not the first thing that would pop in your head if you're going to target wipers.
Right.
Not even close. Probably not even the top 20 things you would guess.
Right. So dig through my videos.
Yep.
You'll see exactly what to do.
Yep. Comment and let us know. Send you guys something special. First person who does it.
There you go.
See, another thing I want to do is I want to catch more wipers on the kayak this year.
Okay.
I mean, I've been doing okay though. Like last year, I did all right with wipers on the kayak, but there was long stretches in between where I wasn't catching wipers on the kayak. Basically, it was very early spring, and then super, I think early winter. Yeah, it was straight up winter. But basically, the time period in between then, I wasn't really catching them. I kind of want to, be more consistent
More
throughout
consistent.
the year.
The secret bait works year round.
Yeah, the secret bait.
Secret
Year
bait
round?
works year round.
Okay.
Well,
See-
okay, maybe not through the ice. Maybe though. I've never
I
tried
don't
it.
know. We never tried that.
But
Maybe.
we did. Well, I did pretty good through the ice last year.
You did for sure.
I didn't. I caught one, but then I had a lot of stuff going on. I didn't get after him a lot, but
True. You had a baby. Duh.
had a baby.
You had a new baby.
Right.
Hello.
That
Congrats.
took up a good chunk of the time.
Congrats.
Thank you. But yeah, spring wiper pretty easy. Or
So
not
fun.
easy, but it's a lot slower pace. You know, you get into your midsummer bite. I'm in my boat. I am seeing them jump 100 yards that way, firing up the motor, going over, catching a couple, and they're jumping 100 yards over here. You're constantly just chasing them in the summer. Right now, it's kind of a sit and wait.
I don't understand
least
how
in my
people
book.
like don't. There's people out there that don't like them for whatever reason.
Okay, we can jump into that. Go ahead, finish your thoughts.
It's like I don't understand. Like, how do people just not love going out and catching these things? If that's all we did from like now until ice fishing, even through the ice, if that's the only fish I could catch, I would not complain.
Oh,
at
absolutely.
all.
I mean, I think pound for pound, I don't think there's an argument that they're the best fighting
We
fish.
agree. We definitely agree.
Exactly.
Maybe in the United States.
Right.
Pound for pound. I mean, gosh dang. I mean, they
Yeah, imagine if they got 50 pounds.
right.
Or
Like okay, so
100
maybe a
pounds.
striper would be considered a little more.
Well,
pound for
from
pound,
what
but-
we've heard, Spencer, he's caught like true stripers.
yeah.
Said pound for pound, the hybrids fight harder. So I mean, imagine if a hybrid got 50, 100 pounds.
Right.
It'd be insane.
That would be insane, man. I think, honestly, like you're saying, why people don't like catching it as much. I could be wrong, but I think it's because a lot of people think it tastes like dog shit.
Well, you don't have to eat every fish you
Agree.
catch.
No, I'm with
That's
you.
the thing.
I'm with you. I agree. You don't have to eat it. It's for the fun, for the sport of it. I get it. But I think a lot of people, they love to go after walleye. Why? Because they love to eat it. A lot of people love to go after crappie. Crappie doesn't get that big, doesn't fight that hard. It's just, you know what I'm saying? But
Basically, there's like 5-6 other fish. If you're gonna go out to catch fish to eat, there's 5 or 6 other fish that
Very
would taste better.
very true. But I think that kind of is the reason why people don't like targeting them as much. So I mean, I don't know. I could.
I
be
don't
wrong.
eat them, and I
Yeah.
love catching
But
them.
I mean, I
true.
guess there are a lot of people that fish. Well, I don't know how many there is, but I know there are some people that fish just for food, not for the excitement of catching the fish, not for, So in that way, I mean,
But in that regard, why would you be so picky? You
yeah.
know,
And why
if you're
wouldn't you
fishing
want to
only
catch a
for
bigger
food.
fish? You'd get more meat. I don't know. That just doesn't make sense to me. How
Well,
no one like the target.
I mean,
but I
okay.
know there isn't though. I watch guys in the summer. They'll see me fishing for them, see me catching them, and they just keep trolling for crappie, or casting for bass.
It's what they like. Hey, it's their preference.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
true. People
More
like
power to
whatever
them.
they like.
Yeah.
Exactly. But okay, so the thing is, I know you always say, right, that wipers taste like dog shit.
Okay, I said it once. I said that once.
Okay, very well.
Once.
So I'm gonna have to show you how to eat or how to cook it.
That's the thing, and I've told both of you about this
Yeah.
before. I'm like the basic white guy that just fries his fish all the
Dude,
time.
spring rolls. They're pretty good at
And-
spring rolls.
Honestly, I need to branch out a little
So-
bit. I need to branch out.
So the video that I did with my wife when she did the spring rolls with the walleye, which is that's like extravagant in our culture, like a walleye spring roll. That's like really top, like high.
Sounds great.
But you can use the wipers. It works perfect. If you get a catch, let's just say like a 3 to 4 pound wiper, it'd be perfect to do fish wrap, a fish spring roll, like he was just.
Can you do white bass too? Are they the same?
Yeah.
You could do any.
You can do any fish, technically.
Okay.
Because all you're doing is, I mean, you're bake. I mean, you can fry the fish, but what we normally do is we put the herbs and everything, we bake it, and then you can, broil it to give it a little bit of char in the skin. But you're not eating the skin anyway, so it doesn't
Right.
care less. But so a lot of people ask, so do you eat the red meat part of it? I mean, this is my suggestion, my recommendation to anybody. When you're eating white bass or hybrid striped bass, never eat it after it's been frozen. Never eat it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Always try to eat it as fresh as you can.
Because you lose kind of the flakiness once you freeze it. Is that what?
No, the taste.
And the taste,
The
too.
taste is just not that.
Okay.
It just once you freeze a fish and thaw it out, it just breaks down.
Yeah.
Right.
It just doesn't
So I'm
taste
saying
right.
you lose the flakiness.
Yeah.
It's more
Yeah.
mushy.
The only fish that I know frozen tastes almost exactly fresh as crappie. That would be the only
I don't
fish.
know. I don't know.
The thing is,
You don't think
crappie,
so?
to be honest, though, do crappies really have that much of a taste?
I do.
they don't.
No,
They
they
don't.
do.
I'm with you.
I think
on this
that's why
one.
a lot
They
of
have-
people like it.
They have a sweet. I think they have a little bit sweeter taste than a normal fish. Like you give me a white bass and a crappie, I could guarantee I can tell you the difference.
Oh, for
Of
sure,
course.
for sure.
But
But
you
I'm
can
just,
tell but you can taste by the taste too, because I think crappie has a little bit of distinct sweetness to it. You don't think so?
Maybe it's just more. I think it's more. It's kind of like white rice. It takes on whatever flavors you put it in. Like opposed
How you
to
cook it? You like how you're cooking it or how you prepping it?
yeah, however you cook it. Like
Yeah.
crappie,
Yeah.
it it's kind of like a blank slate or whatever.
Right.
It just takes on whatever flavors you
right.
put onto it. Versus like a white bass, it has
Sure.
more of a stronger taste. So it has its own taste.
Yeah.
That's why you can taste it more in like whatever dishes you make. Versus a crappie, which is kind of like neutral.
hmm
I think that's why crappie is like more popular.
Because it doesn't have that fishy taste. There's
Right.
like hardly any taste.
Yeah, there's hard.
In,
There's no
in
taste
my
at all.
in my opinion, it tastes like the seasonings that I put in the batter.
Right, it just takes on whatever taste
True.
or whatever flavors you put on it.
Okay, so for the hybrid striped bass though, when you make it, I highly recommend don't even flaying it and battering it and frying it. I never eat hybrids that way ever.
I think that's the only way I've ever had them.
Okay, but that's just my opinion. But the way we do it, like I said, normally I eat it either baked or grilled, and that's all. And then once we do cook it that way with the herbs and everything, then we either do it in a fish wrap or eat it with like sticky rice, because there's a thing called popping top. I don't know how to. You cut the fish in half and then you put a bunch of greens and herbs
It's
inside
basically
of it.
just
and
I thought I've heard
a baked whole
baked,
fish.
yeah,
Right. That's what I was thinking.
And I prefer eating it that way with like sticky rice, and it's like
It sounds great.
it's killer, man.
See-
Have you had sticky rice? Hold on. Have you had sticky rice yet? Ever?
I don't believe
See,
so.
we're trying to
Shit.
learn
All right,
Ryan
I
here.
don't believe I have.
You gotta learn of
Slowly.
I just need to be invited to a cookout.
dude. If he has sticky
Let's
rice,
catch some wiper.
I guarantee if he has sticky rice, it'll change his life.
Now, what exactly is
think it
sticky
will.
rice? I know we might be going
See.
off topic a little bit here.
No, it's
but
alright.
Give me the lowdown on sticky rice,
Go
because
ahead.
I might have had it. I mean, is it?
Well, the reason why it's called sticky rice because it's quote unquote sticky, and you eat it
Right.
with your hands. It's kind of like I think the scientific or whatever term is like glutinous rice.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with like gluten. People are like gluten.
I'm
allergy.
gluten-free.
No. It's like
No,
I'm kidding.
it's
I'm
like
kidding.
it's like sweet. It's sweet glutinous.
It's like it's
Okay.
not the same thing as like gluten free or whatever. It's so like if you're gluten free, I think you can eat sticky rice.
Really?
I think glutinous refers to like the consistency of it.
Okay.
So it's kind of like the best way to describe
Like
it is
sticky rice.
it's rice that is sticky
Yeah, it is. No, it is right.
and it's sweeter.
It
It's
is.
sweeter
so
than
sweeter
regular rice.
taste.
Than regular jasmine rice, regular white rice. It's just like he just said. It has a distinct taste to it. And it's a little bit sweeter. Like a lot of people that I've introduced it to, like when they've never had it. Like a lot of pretty much white people that I've introduced it to.
Dude, every white person that tasted sticky rice loves it.
Yeah.
We'll just put it that way.
Yeah.
To be
I'm
honest,
sure I
straight
will.
up.
I've never had them go like, God, that was the worst rice I've ever had. Not a single one. Like, when can I get another round?
Like the one way to put it is like
You guys are making me hungry.
regular rice. It kind of crumbles or it's like super soft.
Yep.
And then it falls apart. Like all the grains. Sticky rice, it kind of has like a bounce to it. Like it keeps its form.
Okay.
So if you take a grain of sticky rice that's been cooked, you squeeze it a little bit, and it'll keep its shape. Versus regular white rice, if you squeeze it, it kind of just crumbles apart.
And the crazy thing with the sticky rice is that if you cook it right, when you put it in your hand, it doesn't stick to your hand.
Yeah.
It sticks to each other.
If you
the
overcook
rice.
it,
Yeah.
it'll be really, really sticky.
Then it's overly cooked.
Yeah.
But if you,
Typically, the way you eat it is sorry, I put the beer on the table. But typically, the way you eat it, you hold it in your hand,
Okay.
and you would think if something's sticky, you don't want to touch it or whatever. If it's not overcooked, if you overcook sticky rice, it's gonna be like super sticky and gooey.
yeah.
But if
You gotta do it
cook
right.
if you cook it just right, it's sticky enough where it holds together, but it won't like stick to your hand.
And I'm okay. So if listeners or watchers listen, like, why are they talking about rice? Because you know what? It's the greatest compliment to fish. I shit you not. For my culture, the way we eat fish and everything, it's the greatest compliment to eating. Whether it's fried fish, baked fish, it doesn't even matter.
So
it just
let me ask you this, Ryan. Have you seen the videos where I make the lettuce wraps?
Yes.
And dip it in the sauce with the noodles?
Yep.
Those. You gotta try that. Man, everybody that I've introduced to those noodles.
Mi goreng, yeah, I'm
Yeah,
trying.
mi goreng.
Guess what my kids are eating tonight?
Mi goreng?
Yeah,
Mi
my wife-
goreng eggs,
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
guessing.
God, great. Great. They
Those
don't-
is the best instant noodles you'll ever eat. You throw, a couple pieces of fish in there. Doesn't matter what kind of fish it is. Put in like a piece of lettuce. Dude, it's so good. I actually got catfish in my fridge. That's what I was gonna make tonight. But instead,
You
I'm
should have
here.
made it. We could have had it right here.
I did.
I know.
I did.
Hey, we might have to do an episode where we actually eat fish while we talk fish and drink beer.
Please allow me to
So-
come back to
so-
that one.
So what I've noticed with Ryan lately is he's been branching out of his comfort zone, like with the catfish.
Right.
Like you want to explore more avenues of eating fish, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
Like the more people that explore, especially if you want to dabble in like, my culture's food or whatever.
Right.
I think that's
Well, because
totally
I
awesome.
see your guys' videos, I see your pictures, and like I think I messaged both of you.
Yeah.
I caught a walleye a couple weeks ago. I went home and fried it. I'm like, it's just getting old.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that's how a lot of people eat them. They don't usually branch out. Then I see your videos, I see your pictures, I see other people doing it this way, other people doing it this way, and it just definitely something I want to kind of branch out and experience something other than fried fish. I've tried baking it. That's about as crazy as
And
I've
then
gone.
if catfish, right? Because my mom makes the greatest catfish soup. Like, oh my God, I'm telling you. And then you eat that with the sticky rice, the catfish soup that my mom makes.
It sounds good.
It's
Yeah,
I just have no knowledge. Like
and then people are like,
you guys talking about sticky rice is like making my head spin.
Like, dude,
Just-
like
but,
sticky rice, you dip it in any sauce, it kind of soaks up the sauce, then you eat it, and oh man, it's so good.
yeah.
Tell me when and where this will be served, and I'll be there.
We can do this. Dude, we can definitely do
Yeah,
something.
we'll set something up,
Yeah,
Ryan.
we'll set something up. We can do it. It'll be fun. Actually, he could be the first time he ever tried sticky rice. We'll show on video. You can record it whether on your channel or my
anyways,
channel.
Going back to, we kind of went off the rails.
Yeah, we. I think we just had like a 20-minute conversation about sticky rice,
It's
but
all right.
But like, with there's certain ways you can eat fish, like for a less so-called desirable fish, like a hybrid striped bass. If you eat it in the ways we've mentioned,
mhm.
it isn't that bad. You barely taste the fish really,
Mhm.
because with the spring rolls, you got all those herbs. Then you dip it in a sauce. All you taste is like the herbs, sauce, noodles, the wrap, and when versus compared to just frying it, you're just tasting the batter and the
The
fish,
grease.
really. And the grease.
Yeah, exactly. Now I must say, when I did make the comment about how I thought wipers tasted, that was more geared towards that body of water and more of the conserving the
Yeah, you're
population
trying to-
of said fish.
Yeah,
in
I know
said
exactly
lake.
what you're doing.
So,
you're
you
trying
know what
to
I mean?
dissuade
So-
people from like taking a cold cooler home.
Okay, so this is the thing too. Once the fish get to like wipers, when they get to a specific size, when I say size, like 5 pounds and above, it doesn't taste as great for sure.
The way I see it, if you're gonna harvest wipers, if you can't eat all of it in one sitting, it's not worth it.
Right.
If you have to throw it in the freezer, like
Agreed.
for me, keeping a 2-pound wiper, that's plenty for one meal. If I have to freeze the rest, it ain't worth it.
Mhm.
And that's what I say, because I don't think white or hybrid striped bass tastes as good frozen. So like he was just saying, if you can't eat it in that setting, you shouldn't have kept 10 of them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because once you put it in the freezer and then you come and cook it, like or you just end up tossing it because it gets freezer burn. So, I mean, at that point, you might as well keep just enough that you can eat that night or whatever.
Right. And I'm not against anyone keeping fish.
No,
like
no.
if they're legally taken, if they're in their limit,
For sure.
absolutely no problem with it. I've seen the advantages of having a wiper population in lakes that have been killed off before because of shad populations.
Yeah.
And they do a great job of controlling them. I mean, if someone's keeping them out of the river, that's a different thing. But if they're put into a lake for a reason of managing the lake,
For the shad.
for the shad, and I just love catching them so much. It's just, I guess it's a little bit of selfishness. I would just rather see more of them
You're,
in the lake. I would rather have you guys catch. I'd rather have everyone catch them, and like
True.
I don't know.
Yeah, Ryan is a
I'm-
little vocal when it comes to this subject. I'm sure
But it's
our local scene has,
I'm kind of
They've seen.
You're kind of the what?
Yeah.
Spit it out. It's all right, man.
It's okay, right?
It's all right.
Hey, you're trying to look out for the fishery.
Exactly.
Right.
You're trying to help
And
everybody.
like I keep fish as much as like I kept a couple of huge batches of crappie through the ice this year. I've kept some walleye this spring, so I'm not against anyone keeping fish. Like I said, I look at it from more of a standpoint of helping the lake not get killed off again.
Well, okay.
For lack of better words.
All right, here I'm gonna. This is a kind of a controversial. I think it'll be kind of controversial, anyways. So, like I saw recently, people were on Facebook. They were talking about shad. Some guy mentioned that he wanted to buy live shad, and people were chiming in.
You can't do that, can you?
No, you can't. Like, well, for one, you can't possess live shad, so nobody's gonna sell live shad because it's illegal to even possess it.
Right.
And then, people were talking about they'll kill lakes off just to get rid of the shad. That's why you don't want to transport shad. If shad gets into a certain lake, they'll kill off the lake because shad just take over. And people are, like, that doesn't make any sense because shad are natural and blah, blah, blah. Like in these certain lakes, they don't do anything there. But I think they're referring to like the big impoundments like Red Rock, Sailorville, McBride, Rathbun, whatever.
Yeah.
I think, well, for one, the Corps of Engineers owns those lakes, so I don't know how much say the DNR would have, like in that regard. And second, these lakes that are getting taken over for with shad, and then the DNR is putting these wipers in to kind of help mitigate that problem.
Yep.
My thoughts is, I'm pretty sure like our DNR buddies are listening. Here's my thoughts on it. So I get it. You're stocking wipers to kind of help control these shad populations. But at the same time, you're letting people take as many
Unlimited.
wipers as they want. It kind of like defeats the purpose to me.
I mean, they obviously know more than all three of us do combined.
They
so,
do.
I mean,
They see
there
the data.
must be some sort of data, like you're saying that. But I don't know.
And then they try to strike a balance between us three vocal hardcore fishermen versus what the data actually shows.
Right.
And like before we started doing this podcast, the whole social aspect never occurred to me. For example, the crappie limit, that's purely social. There's a group of vocal fishermen like us three, like, oh, people are taking too much crappies. And I guess after a certain amount of time, but okay, we'll just satiate these guys by saying, okay, everybody only 23 or 25, sorry.
I have a side question for you guys. With the implement of all the new technology, live scope, panoptics, all this, do you think there needs to be some sort of a change on the limit of panfish, especially crappie?
Okay, so
Like, is this new technology decimating populations, especially of panfish like crappie and bluegill? I guess
There's
bluegill, you
been
don't have to worry about
studies.
bluegill,
There's
but
actually
crappie.
been a couple of studies.
Has there? Okay.
yes,
And basically, short answer is no. For the average
and I'm
fisherman,
I'm working on that.
Is-
Cross your fingers if we
is-
can get the person who's working on that study.
Yeah.
So
for the average angler, it doesn't make a difference.
Yeah.
Okay.
For the average angler, like someone like me or you, sure, we'll probably end up, catching our limits or whatever, every other time, maybe. But like the average angler, they basically say it's a wash.
So, but they haven't done a study with somebody who's like a proficient I wouldn't even say semi-pro or pro fisherman or anything, but like somebody who's like really into it. They haven't done a full study on that, but like he just said, they did this study where just an average normal Joe fishing didn't make a damn.
See, but the thing is, what they said, that's basically who. Dang, I can't think of the words now.
But they did say
The average Joe fisherman is like 80%, 90% of of people that are buying the licenses.
Yeah.
Versus like someone like me and you, we're like the 10%.
And then you gotta keep this in mind too. The 10% know better than to keep every limit.
Yeah, and
all
the
damn
10%
time.
is more. They're more conscious
Exactly.
about keeping
So
their limits or
Right.
whatever.
so that 90% that
So you don't
me-
see any negativity anything negative about the advancement of the technology as it comes to fish populations?
We've had
See,
this
that's a
conversation.
different question.
Yeah, that's a different question. But I don't think it has. I don't think having live scope and all the great technology, I don't think it's going to really affect, honestly, the population of the fish.
See, I think it depends. Like, if the average Joe, like, figures it out,
Then that's different.
That's
They're
what
not
I'm saying. And like, how many percentage of anglers have that kind of technology right now? Maybe 10%, maybe.
right? But once the average Joe gets it in their hands,
That's what.
and then let's say they start increasing their catches, all of a sudden, let's say 40% of the average anglers is catching, their limits every other time.
But then they're not even a normal Joe at that point if they're fishing all the time to catch limit. Then.
Right, but then their percentage, the percentage of them is bigger now, is what I'm trying to say.
So we won't. I don't think you.
that's a dark hole.
Yeah,
a
it is,
deep
it is.
dark
But I
hole
don't
to
think
go
you would
into.
even
but-
know until like another couple of years.
Right.
Obviously.
Right.
See, like, if the technology is in everybody's hands, I think hands down more fish are going to be caught.
So
obviously.
I'm wondering in the future if anything's ever going to have to be done to kind of mitigate
I don't.
technology.
But
kind
like
of
right
find
now,
out.
the attachment rate for like live scope to the whatever total angler population, like you said, it might be like 10%. But once that technology gets cheaper and cheaper, let's say, all of a sudden 40% of anglers have that technology,
It'd be
then it
different.
might make a difference.
Have you guys caught more fish since upgrading to this new technology? I know all three of us have it now. I know you're the fancy guy. With the,
Yeah, he's super fancy.
me and you
homie.
just still got the pin
Yeah.
optics. But in
I am
general, do you
the-
think you guys have caught more fish? Has it made you a better angler?
I think I have caught from the technology. I don't think I've caught more. I think.
But
I've
how
caught,
do you know?
You don't unless you track every single fish. You know every time you catch.
Right.
Like, let's
But
say,
I
Generally speaking, do you think
I think I've caught more now. This is me being me, is because I've gone out more and gotten a little bit better. I don't think it's because of the technology. The technology to me makes it fun, makes it more on the ice, makes it more enjoyable. On a kayak, makes it more enjoyable.
well, how do you know it's not because of the technology?
You
That's
don't.
another
You
question.
know, the only
What
way
about-
Right?
the only way I could do that is if I do 10 trips out with no technology, 10 trips out with technology.
Well, you don't even have to go as far as no technology. Just take a flash.
flasher, standard?
That would be the only way. You have to do that.
There's a video for you guys next year.
We got to do a test like 10 or 20 whatever. This way, nothing. 10 or 20 with everything you want to use and
But-
see how you do.
Here's the thing: is with the flasher, one thing I noticed, I got live scope, and I'll jig out of a certain hole, and I'll dead stick like a hole maybe 3 feet to my left.
Mhm.
I know exactly with the live scope when a fish is coming up to it. Versus a flasher, I'm only seeing what's directly beneath me.
Yeah.
And with the live scope, when I see that fish coming up to my dead stick, 3-4 feet away, I'm ready.
Yeah.
But
It's-
versus a flasher,
You just wait
you don't
until
know you don't know when a fish is coming up to
Mhm.
that dead stick, and the dead stick that's just a bonus fish regardless. But and a lot of times you don't catch that fish on the bonus line, your dead stick. It's because you're not paying attention. You don't see what's going on.
You're right on that because I think a couple times this year on the ice, even using the Panoptics, you're right. I saw fish coming over here. It was, obviously up high, and I was bouncing off the bottom, right? But then because seeing that on the flasher, that it's about 10 feet higher, right? I brought up my lure 10 feet higher,
And you can be
knowing-
prepared.
be prepared, like you were
Yeah,
saying.
you can anticipate the
And
bite.
Yeah,
Because sometimes, if you can't anticipate the bite, you can't be there to set the hook.
Yeah.
Sometimes
It's
they
too
bite
late.
it. That's it. You lost your chance.
Very true.
With the live scope, it's like scenarios like that, I think is where it really shines. Because I haven't released those videos yet. Next winter, where
Which ones?
I have how to catch vipers through that and
Ooh.
catfish. I haven't released them yet because I'm
That'll
going
be
to
a
save
banger.
them for next winter.
Okay.
I got a dead stick, and I know there's nothing beneath me, and I know something's coming out to my dead stick. So I'm ready. I'm there. Like, there's a fish coming out to my dead stick. And as soon as it hits, I'm there to set the hook. Versus a flasher, you don't know if there's a fish over there or not.
Right.
It's
So you think you've caught more? You think that has made you a
This
more
past season,
proficient?
this past
angler?
season, I think so. like it helps put me in spots exactly where I want to be because
I was just gonna say, I think it has helped me find structure more than it has fish.
Yep.
True.
But in this state, it seems like if you can find a big brush pile in the middle of winter, there's gonna be crappie on it.
Yeah.
And before, you had just been drilling, and you have to you have like a little 5-foot area below your hole. You'd have to drill over it to find out right where that is. This, I can scan around, find the brush
it's
piles
so much
for it.
easier.
So I think it
where
helps
you wanna
me.
fish.
Yeah, it helps me find spots better.
Yeah.
Not necessarily maybe fish, but fishing spots better.
Yeah.
Which in turn leads to more fish,
yeah.
which in turns me being
It
more
helps you-
proficient angler.
It helps you find the spot on the spot.
Yep.
Okay, but the question is, do you think are they gonna have to? But how can you even regulate?
I'm just saying. I was. My real question was, will it affect fish populations in the near future or the future to where we will have to?
We'll have to
adjust
do the
limits based on
podcast maybe
technology?
in 5 years and see where we're at.
Right.
I
You know what I'm
think
saying?
I think once the attachment rate gets higher, then maybe
Maybe.
something to consider.
But you also have to keep in mind, like crappies and those types of bluegills and stuff. I mean, they reproduce like mad.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I don't think it will affect it too much in that sense. But if they don't, I guess size might be the one. You know what I'm saying? Like you can find the bigger sizes, but I don't know, man, because I think they reproduce so well.
It depends who has the technology. Really.
Yeah.
But like I said,
Yeah.
as more average Joes that they're out there to keep whatever they catch. As more of those guys get this technology, and if they start catching more because of this technology, that means they're keeping more because they're out there to keep fish.
We'll see. I'll see if I can get that gentleman that did the study.
That would be
and everything.
really awesome.
Because I know he did it just with the regular Joes.
Yeah,
you're
like
saying.
just average dudes.
Yeah.
They're not like hardcore fishermen.
So it was more of a study of just the fishermen themselves. They just basically followed.
No, they literally sent out a whole weekend with these guys with half the team had a live scope, half the team didn't.
and then they
swapped.
flipped.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And they figured out like nobody caught more. They caught about the same. Or it was just it was a wash.
Nice. Okay.
So,
I'd never
but-
seen that study.
But he also did mention they didn't do it with somebody like you say, like Kit had it versus not having it. Like somebody who's proficient using the
Right.
technology or proficient fishermen, they didn't do that test yet.
Yeah.
So if you did a test with them, then we can see.
Here's the vibe
Sure.
I get. Like fisheries, they want to cater to the 80-90% of people versus the Ryan Likens or the fishing kits of the world.
Say,
Hawkeye Bassin.
Yeah,
right,
Hawkeye
right,
Bassin.
Right.
It's true, but it's interesting. I'll see if we can get the guy. It'd be really cool to kind of see what he really found because it was like a 10-15 minute interview we heard on the podcast. It's Iowa DNR podcast. Go check that out, by the way, guys. He was on there. I forgot it was January or February, I think, whatever the case. They did that podcast, so it was
Nice.
pretty cool. We'll see if we can get that guy. I think he's down in Kansas too.
Was it Kansas?
I think so. I'll see if I can. I'll talk to our hookup and see if we can.
It's funny because people think the camera's looking that way. Like,
Oh,
you can
yeah.
walk by.
Yeah, it's pointing this
He
way.
is pointing this way.
But we'll see if we can get them
Like,
on.
oh.
It'd be pretty cool to kind
That
of
would be cool.
Yeah, pick their minds a little bit more and see if they can do something like that. Like Kit was saying, like, dude, he'll volunteer.
Yeah,
He said, I'll be a taste tester.
Jeff Kapaska, the fisheries biometrician. I was like, hey, after they put out that podcast, I was like, hey, if you need, if you want to do some kind of live scope study here,
Let me know.
right here,
Right.
here.
Yeah, me too.
For sure, man. But no, I it's just we'll see. I think honestly, in regards to the technology, what the effects live scope and Panoptics, all that's going to have, won't know for another 5 to 10 years, because then you'll see
Still
if it's-
relatively new.
Yeah.
The
How long
attachment rate is pretty low
What's
for the average fisherman.
How long ago did live scope come out? A year and a half
I'd say
ago?
three
Two
years.
3 years ago. Yeah. So,
Two or three.
and not everybody can afford that shit.
Exactly. That's why I'm saying the
Yeah.
attachment rate
It's
is
good
low.
to-
For the average fisherman, they don't have live scope. The live scope people are like, well, people with money for one, and then like guys like us that like think it's worth the investment.
Right.
We make a few sacrifices to
Right.
Have
Have a couple less of these.
Yeah.
Put that money away and get yourself.
and then there's the guys with tons of money like, oh, I just want the latest and greatest, so I'll just get whatever.
I do think, though, with the competition between all these different companies, that the price point on these live imaging units are going to start going down. It'll be like plasma TVs back in the early 2000s,
Well,
for instance.
we kind of we said that for the past year now. Price hasn't gone down yet, but
No,
I think
LVS 32 has gone down.
that's
Right.
How much did that go down by though?
Like
A couple $100, isn't it?
$300. I think it's like $1,200
Because
now.
I'm looking at getting one now, finally.
The LVS
Making that
32.
step. Yep.
Well, you can just all you need to do is just switch out the.
I would need the black box, too.
Yeah,
He
you just
still
need the
needs the
black
black
box.
box
Yeah.
and the transducer. So he's
Yep.
looking at $1,200.
Or used, you can get it for like under $1,000 now.
Right.
I see people selling it for under 1,000. So
What if I knew a guy that was selling his for like 1,000 or something?
Is this guy seated to the left of me?
No, I'm not even considering, because even if I sold it my LVS 32 plus the GLS 10, which is the black box for Live Scope. So with Live Scope, for those that don't know, there's basically two parts to it. There's the transducer part, and then there's the what they call the black box, the GLS 10. It's kind of like the brains. It does all the processing and stuff. Recently, Garmin's come out with a new improved transducer, the LVS 34. They call it Live Scope Plus. The GLS 10, that's still there. That's still like kind of the brains behind everything. It's kind of like a refined version of the LVS 32. I think that's why it's still called the LVS 30 whatever 34. That's what it is now. So it's kind of like a incremental upgrade. Kind of cleans things up a little bit. Better target separation. That's kind of like the new thing. I don't know. Like even though I sold it for $1,000, I'm still looking at investing $700 more on top of that, because it's $1,700 for the black box and the transducer. And if you're asking why don't I just sell the transducer, well, there's no market for it. Like for someone that doesn't have the black box,
Right.
they're not gonna just buy the transducer.
yeah,
So
Makes sense.
there's no market just for the LVS 32. So I would have to sell the whole thing, and then basically buy the Live Scope Plus all together. That's the only rate. That's really the only way to go about it.
very true.
Unless I'm just gonna disregard the transducer and just maybe if I had to, maybe I could run two transducers, LVS 34 and 32.
That's ladies and gentlemen, that comes from a guy who doesn't have a wife
Right. Or kids.
or kids. That would veto that like spontaneously, instantly.
Right. I hear you there.
But that's a good idea. Do it.
But still, if I
Just do
just
it.
upgraded only the transducer, that's like $1,200
Yeah.
just for the transducer.
Very true.
money.
Yeah, it's been fun, guys. You got anything else for Ryan, guy? We've been talking for a while. It's been
So we just went down a
rabbit hole. Well,
we went down a rabbit hole.
that's
there on
okay.
this.
Sticky rice and then Live Scope.
Sticky rice and live scopes.
Hey, it's crucial. Those are crucial things in the fishing world that a lot of people need to hear and know about.
Yeah.
Well, for me, I just want Ryan to keep like exploring these new avenues of food, catfish. I want to go catfishing with you again
All right.
if you're up for it.
I do.
I do. I think. Well, you
This
can't go
weekend.
tomorrow, can you?
Oh, can you go Saturday?
No, I can't go tomorrow.
Saturday.
But,
Are you busy Saturday?
Probably, is it going to snow again?
No, it's supposed to be like tomorrow's weather. I think. all
Windy?
weekend. Maybe. I don't know. I haven't looked.
I want to get you on the dragging for catfish bite.
Like the drifting?
You have the drifting, dragging.
Off a
I got
boat.
the boat. Let's go anytime.
You just need to get some more rod holders, I think. Because
That
if
can happen.
we do like 3 rod holders for each person, or even 2, let's say 2 rods for me, 2 rods for you. If we just get that set up in your boat somehow, like dude, we could just go hit some shallow flat on a big reservoir,
I'm
probably
down.
freaking nail catfish all day. That's one of my favorite ways to catch catfish. You basically don't have to do anything. You just drift, and the fish just hook themselves. All you gotta do is reel. Sounds boring, but just seeing those rods like
Oh,
freaking
yeah,
just going
that was
crazy, like oh man, so exciting.
Hopefully, I can get out. I haven't been out. Can't wait to fish. It's been sucking, man. I've been itching. Man.
But anyways, Hawkeye Bassin. When are you coming?
Oh yeah.
back? When or if?
Last question from us.
When or
When?
if?
So I've thought about it multiple times. I've taking the cameras out, got home, and just didn't have the drive to edit.
You just got to get past that first video.
I have 2 kids now, which is harder. And honestly, towards the end of doing YouTube, it kind of made fishing less fun, if that makes any sense. The added work, the added hours after fishing, it got to a point where it made fishing less fun, and I didn't like that. So I kind of got away from it. I had some other problems too. I had my hard drive go out on my computer. As you guys know, I had one of my last videos. I came home and had no audio for the whole day. You know, it was a great video. I had no audio because I didn't have my stupid adapter plugged into the GoPro right.
Yes, this happens all the damn time. Or you
GoPro needs to fix that. They don't need, like, I don't know what they are now. Last GoPro I had was the Hero 5, and it had some little thing you'd plug into the GoPro, but then you plug your mic into that. So you have 3 separate connections. If one of those is just tweaked a little bit, you have no audio. So it just became kind of frustrating, less fun, and then you're kind of edging that line when you're giving away your spots, technically, too. I know both of you are good about this, but there are a lot of other YouTubers that will literally broadcast their spot, where they're at, what they're using. And then I've heard these people complain about not catching as many fish a year later. It's like, well, you led 100 people to your spot. So it just became more of a job. You know, I never want to look at fishing as a job. I want to look at fishing as a hobby, as a getaway from everything else, in your life. So I want, now having kids, that brings up a whole new thing, is I want to have those memories with the kids. So maybe, my son did go ice fishing a lot this year. He loves it. I wish I would have had some of that stuff on video. So maybe when they're a little bit older, I start fishing with them as more of a personal memories thing. Maybe I'll come back with them, so at least I can have some videos with them. But I don't know. I got to a point where I valued fishing and fun more than worrying about making videos.
I respect that, man.
It's something that's,
if your heart's not in it, it's not worth it.
I mean, it was fun, but it became more of a job. It made fishing feel like a job, and that's never a good thing.
Nope.
You know,
when it takes away from something that you love and you have a huge passion for,
right?
I agree that it's like, and I get it. I mean, I have moments like this week, like I was at a point like, man, am I gonna go record a video, or just to record a video? I'm just like, man, I told you, like, man, I probably just won't even do a video this week. It is what it is. It's like,
that's an important thing. Don't ever burn yourselves out, both of you. Like, don't. You know what I mean? Like, don't ever make it a hassle. If you don't like, or if you don't feel like filming a video, you just want to go fishing, just go fishing.
True.
I felt the pressure that every single time that I went fishing, I had to have my drone case with me. I had to have my GoPro with me. I had to have my DSLR camera with me. And it was just a little overwhelming.
Yeah, I'm at the point where, like, the big cameras, I don't even mess with the big cameras. It's too much of a hassle.
Right. Like, I liked your setup there tonight. You had a GoPro.
Yeah.
And you had a mic.
Yeah,
and that was it.
Mic. The problem, like, for me, if I'm fishing, I'm recording. I'm at a point where, I like doing it. Like, if I'm going fishing, I might as well just record. That's how I feel.
Right.
But, as you witnessed last time,
the audio.
I have a GoPro Hero 5, what he mentioned earlier. You gotta hook up this thing to this other thing and plug your mic into it. And if everything's not perfectly in sync, your audio sucks. Like, it's not even to a point where, okay, my audio is, it's there. Yeah, I can use it. It's just either it's just like ass.
Yeah.
And you can't use it. You can't make a video out of it.
Yeah.
And I totally get that point, because that one day I was like, oh my god, dude, like, my audio sucks.
Right.
Like I said, man.
It like, days like that really bring you down.
So see, that brought you down while you were fishing. You were having a good time until that happened.
Yeah, exactly.
And that wouldn't have happened if you weren't making a video. That's how it ended up getting me. Just
I'm not quite there yet, and that's happened a few times. The last few times I went out, it's like, oh man, this sucks. It's like, I don't even want to fish anymore.
Right. So I think a lot of people that don't make videos, they don't realize like how much work it actually is. Like, you guys both know.
Very true.
Especially, I mean, you guys, you're doing your own videos and this podcast. It takes up a lot of time, and it's a lot of work.
Yeah, and like you said, I was just talking to the wife this week, and she's just like, no, don't even stress it. Don't worry about it. I'm not. Like,
yeah, literally don't.
I really don't. I'm just like, I love doing this podcast. It's an easy edit for us. We really don't really cut much.
Okay, let me ask you this. All right, let's say this week you haven't been fishing, so you might not have a video this week.
Yeah.
So would that make you mad more versus you go out, you have like a dope ass day, and you go home like, yes, I'm gonna have a dope ass video. Then you upload, or you upload your footage, and then your audio, like no.
That would piss me off. That takes the cake, because you had that. I already know I didn't have a video. I didn't get a chance to go out and fish. Versus I went out, killed it, smashed it, and then shit, you can't even use it.
So you would rather just not fish at all versus going out,
because
have a good day, and then like, oh, I can't even make a video out of it.
I mean, that's heartbreaking. I mean, I would love to be able to go out and fish.
But it brings you down like
So I'm
so
saying,
much.
that's what I'm saying.
That's the thing. That's what you're saying. Yeah, it just brings you so far down. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's not the end of the world when that happens, but it's really frustrating. You spend all this effort taking the camera stuff out, and then to come home and have.
But
when you're just not fishing, you're kind of low already, so you can't go much.
Right.
You can't go down much more.
Thanks, Kit.
But versus, you go out, you have like a pretty damn good day, so you're kind of up here. You guys can't see in the video, but I'm like raising my hand all the way up. And then when your audio sucks, you sunk down even lower past where you didn't even go fishing.
So maybe there will be a comeback. That's to answer your question.
Cool.
Maybe this summer.
All right.
Maybe this summer. Maybe I'll shoot for that. I'll announce it right now. Hawkeye Bassin coming out of retirement. Summer 2022.
There we go. Let us know.
We're gonna hold it against you.
We're gonna hold it.
It's in writing right now.
We're gonna have an episode about live scopes and sticky rice.
There we go. It could be the one that your comeback episode could be when we're with you.
Maybe we can use the secret bait.
We use the secret bait to catch a wiper to go make sticky rice.
There you go.
And make sure that our mics are plugged in all the 17 different spots.
There's like a million things that need to go right.
Yeah.
We need to go out.
Well, the fish has got to bite.
Yeah.
We're forgetting the most important part of the whole video and the most,
all these things have to come together.
All right.
The perfect storm. Hawkeye Bassin 2022.
And our schedules have to line up too.
There we go. We'll make it happen.
That too.
I'll make it happen. We'll make it happen.
For me, my schedule's kind of whatever, but
it'll be fun. We'll make it happen, guys. But other than that, man, thanks Ryan for
absolutely. Thanks for having me on, guys. You have great podcasts. I enjoy watching all the episodes, and I'm glad to finally get here with you guys, and hope we'll be back soon.
Thanks, man.
Definitely
appreciate you having us. you coming on here.
How many beers did you get?
2.
All right, let's go get another one.
I have to take a piss really bad. I'm trying to.
There we go.
But I keep talking. Anyways, all right, guys.
Trying to end it, but this guy keeps talking. But no, other than that, man, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely.
We'll have you back pretty soon. Other than that, man, thank you everybody for listening, man. Appreciate it. Don't forget, check out Fishing Kit's YouTube channel. Check out Mom Pop Fishing, even though I don't have a video this week. Even check this guy out.
Hawkeye Bassin.
He's coming back. He committed. So
Summer 2022.
There we go, guys.
Oh, and one more thing. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Find the secret bait in Kit's videos.
Secret bait. Yep. And then
secret bait.
We'll have a pretty cool giveaway. So find that secret bait. Go through all his videos. Go find it, guys. Until next time.